understanding yourself and those around you. The system was derived from astrology, theology, philosophy, numerology, and Pythagoras theorem to conclude the system. It's basically it's a combination of all the systems which has to do with analyzing personality and the human mind, body, spirit, and the community that you live in. And each number you have to, the way you do it is you have to bring it down to a single number because the numbers go from 1 to 9, and the E's have a meaning and an element which is air, water, fire, earth.
Earth, wind, and fire.
And as you probably know, air is intellectual, people who are very air, and logical and stuff, and 2 and 7 is emotional type of people who are more in touch with their feelings and stuff, and 3 and 6 is fire, which is determination and spirituality, and the fire, the drive basically. Earth is 4 and 8, which is down to earth people. They are very structured and more in touch with the physical and the material. Yeah, and that's why the open code can sometimes be confusing when understanding yourself, because one number might be this and another that, and clashes with each other because of your possible lack of understanding if you haven't self-analyzed or introspected in any time of your life. And as you can see, each number in a point code has more or less 10 active and 10 reactive. And it's a toolbox to use yourself and choices to understand yourself in life. Now, when it says reactive, it's not something bad, it's just the circumstances of where you grow up in, which most of the time affects you as a human being. Yeah. My scientific method encoded into your personality and your way of thinking. Is there any questions from anybody?
What numbers are you?
My numbers. Yeah, the page look at the SB.
So, like with these particular elements, like, so according to this, it says it's like completely based on our date of birth, right?
Yes.
Like the day itself.
Yeah.
Or is it the day and month?
It's the day, the month, and the year.
So then
Well,
you
let
have
me-
it together?
Let me just quickly.
So before you continue, so is your answer it's 1 and 5 or 1, 2, 5?
Because there are numbers in between. There is 2, 3, and 4.
Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So it's 1 and 5. 1 and 5.
Yeah, this is air, and this is water, and this is fire, and this is earth. But then you get 9, you see, which does not have an element, or you can say there's all the elements because it's the end and it's the beginning. 9. There's a whole thing out here about 9. How everything about, let's say, life comes to the number 9, like 180 degrees, 360, 90. All this 45, it comes to 9. 9 months, all this stuff, and that's why 9 is a very significant number. But that's why also people who don't have 9s, they have a hard time understanding those with 9s. Most of the time, it's just 9s that can relate to other 9s. And so I don't have a 9, so I find that quite peculiar. But
I was born on the 9th of June.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense now.
but
You travel absolutely.
No?
But each number also has an essence, you see, from 1 to 9.
Right.
Like 1 is the creator, the father, the originator. And 2, the nurturer, the mother, the giver of life. 3, the organizer, the mystic, the teacher, the Holy Trinity. And 4, integrity, virtue, the honorable, completeness. 5, the inventor, intellectual, the logician. 6, charisma, the compassionate, sensual, love, and about family. Now 7 is the idealist, the artist, the spiritual. 8, the dependable, structure and balance, which is on our earth. And 9, the child, innocence, unconditional love. And the knowledge of our point code helps us to realign our natures and see ourselves according to what we were intended to be, as opposed to what we have become. It's not something that dictates your life and say you are this is how you should be, but it gives you a perspective of choosing what you can be because of the infinite possibilities from these 9 numbers in 8 positions.
So it's the same idea that whatever day you're born on, you have a certain personality.
Yeah, that's also the place I wanted to look at. It has to do with the personality, which is the one you show to the outside world. People outside see your personality. When they describe you, they will describe your personality, which is the day you are born on. But that's also the thing. When you have 30 days in the month, so you have to make it a single number. So a 1 will be you are born on the 1st, the 10th, 19th, or the 28th. Because 28, for example, 2 plus 8 is 10, 1 plus 0, 1. Yeah, so it's 1. And 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 again. And 1 is 1. Now the same goes for other numbers. For the 11th, maybe you are born on the 11th, you are 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. And that's how you bring it down to a single number. But that's when I will go more in depth when we calculate the pin code. Do you have a question, Joe? So yeah, so this is the date, this is the month, this is the year, which is here. This is the 8th. April is the 4th month, and 1938. So you have to 1938. So you have to bring it down to a single number. You see, so it's 1 plus 9 is 10 plus, which is 9 again. It's 1. 8. Let me also say this: any number you plus with 9, it ends up is that number that you plus with 9. You see, it will be 3 plus 9. It will be 3 again because 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 4. So yeah, 938, this is 2. So when you bring that down, it will be 3. I don't want to calculate. Just believe me, guys. So yeah, this is the.
Like I want to get to the 3. Let's do it.
Can you do the calculation?
Just proof it.
Oh, was I?
No, usually Desmond, this is
Okay.
has
Like what?
Let's actually do this. Yeah. 1,
that is it.
Okay, so
Equations for this.
1 plus
Yeah, it's
10.
the guy
10
in the
plus 15.
introduction says he started with the equation, then he went on his journey of the
Yes, because it's a part of philosophy, you see.
yeah, in the Bible, Tigris, Pythagoras, and all that stuff. So did you guys calculate it?
Yeah,
3. Yeah, so yeah, so this is the basis of your whole pin code, your day, your month, and your So this is called personality, your social consciousness. With your social consciousness, you have different sides that you show for different people. So when you step outside and you just go into the shop, maybe something, you will display your social consciousness, and people will see that part of you, which is not for just anyone, maybe in your house or someone close to you. That's just when you just hi and have a quick, small talk or whatever, then they will see this part of you. And the global consciousness, that has to do with the year you are born in. And that is different for everybody because every decade influences your consciousness.
But how does it factor in, like, say I'm born on the 8th of April 1938 and somebody else is born on the 8th of April 1938, but I grew up in like a rich mansion in Russia, but somebody else grew up as like colonized as a slave or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's also the thing. Your circumstances and your environment impacts you. While you are in the utero, you are being impacted by your family and everything that's going on in the world influences this number of you, you see. So everything that was happening in that decade, for example, that will be your view of the how you see the world.
But each place of the world, different things are happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how, when you are maybe growing up lovingly, you will display the reactive side of the numbers, which is the good side. And if you are going through struggles or pain or whatever, while you are young, you will display the reactive sides. And while you are growing up, you don't know why you are the way you are, but most of the times you just haven't seen what you are because of the active and reactive. So each number here has 10 different personality traits, and each of them influence you depending on, yeah. So this is your inner self. That is the number that you only show to those close to you, those you are intimate with and know you on a deeper level, which you show when you are excited or something, and you will display this number of traits, and which you get by plussing these two, the social consciousness and the personality, and that's 3 when you plus it, and that's your inner self. Then you get your inner child, which is the month plus the year, then you get 7 in our example. Now that is the number that is usually suppressed by the personality, but that is the number that you strive to long towards to be. You want to be this number, but you will be shown this one. While you are a child and growing up, most of the time they will be displaying this number, and as they grow older and come at a certain age, they will switch to the personality because they learn to fit in and see what's wrong and acceptable in society. Yeah, that's the inner child. So most of the time it's a battle between these two numbers, and they are opposite natures, and you will see the fluctuations in the personalities.
Is it poetry then? Is it poetry then?
This whole thing is poetry. That's why each person with the pin code, they have, you can maybe be twins, but you will display 2 different people. Although you will see the similarities, maybe one will be A, the one will be logical, but the other one will be stubborn in the knowing because of the lack of knowledge, for example. But yeah, and then there's the spirit number. And you see that is the number that drives you. Everything that you do will have that expression, will have a touch of your spirit, which is in our example the 1. And then you get the life cycle and the lesson. The life cycle, that is the number that will dictate how you handle the circumstances and the obstacles in your life. And so 6 in our example. And the last one, which is the lesson, that is the lesson that you need to learn. The reactive side of the numbers most of the time, but you will not know it because you don't have the knowledge. And you won't know this, but for 5, for example, let me just give you an example of one number. For 5, the reactive numbers will be rebellious, restless, critical, sharp-tongued, intense, volatile, stressed, difficult, contrary, and nervous. So they will have to learn not to be like that, and they will have to adapt on the active side of the numbers, because 5s have also the tendency to be courteous, humorous, extrovert, analytical, intellectual, like seeing results, and that's what they will strive towards when that is in your life lesson.
So just a quick question. So for life cycle and lessons, how do those numbers get determined?
That's in the calculation.
No, but like, because I know how like the personality, social consciousness, and the global consciousness, I know how that's calculated, and then the inner self and the child and set a spirit, but then the other two, how does those
I,
get?
I totally understand the question, but that's for the whole calculations.
Oh, it's like
There's
the whole
8
thing.
steps. Now you plus these 3 numbers, then you get the 6. And then you plus the 6 with the 8, then you get the 5.
Oh, okay.
But it will be when I show you guys how to calculate. And then I will also show you the traits and what it has, the position, each number in different positions because it will have a different outcome with each position that the number is in. Is that it? That's the answer to the question.
So
So,
is it true that the person is like an eternal being? So that means that you've been there just like your existence of eternity.
that's my
So
perspective.
you're continuing the life that you, for instance, for instance, now you're living the life that you have lived before. It's just that now you've come perhaps to correct the mistakes that you've made in your past. Yeah, or your past life,
Most of
things
it-
like that.
But me, I heard that when you die,
And
you're born in another country. But
Reincarnated.
But that's all like, that's your own thing. That's like if you believe in God, then you won't believe in that. If you're a Hindu, then you'll believe in reincarnation. It's just like, it's everyone's different beliefs.
But you see, that's the thing, guys. When you have
spirits
perspectives
don't
like
die.
that,
They don't
most
die.
of the time you will have these numbers. You will have a 3 or a 7 because those are or a 9 because those are the spiritual numbers, and people who don't have that number won't necessarily agree with you. But there's others who have those numbers that will agree because they have a deeper search and deeper of wanting to know of life. You see, they want to, and that's the number that drives the spiritual.
I see, I'm working.
But when if you guys come again, I want to introduce how to calculate the whole thing, and I will give you each number and its traits, what is explanation, but that will only be of the personality, and you have to do your own reading. Each one of us will have our own way of reading people because nobody is the same, and that's what I like about the content. That's why I felt the need to share the information because I feel I can learn from a lot more people who have different perspectives as mine because I'm a knowledge addict according to my own code, and I would like to know more from those who have different types of perspectives.
No, I just wanted to say what you presented is true, okay? But also this reflects on algorithm. For instance, artificial intelligence. I've been studying artificial intelligence for a couple of years now, and I implemented a few things, and I published in 2023 and this year. My publication came through for 2 articles that I wrote last year. So algorithm, there is mention is spelled algorithm, and also there is like you find
Actually, anyone.
an algorithm.
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 Yeah, what about the algorithm?
It's linked to this stuff. So for instance, like voice recognition or fingerprint. Now, let's say voice recognition, you can know maybe 10 or 20, but now if you wanted to recognize maybe 1 million voices, you won't be able to know them. Who is this? Is it Tando? Is it John? Is it Khan? Is it whatever? But when you use AI techniques like, for instance, you have CNN, you have machine learning, deep learning, you combine them, become hybrid technique, and then you'll be able to implement the system. It's all written in algorithm. So algorithm is like you have, there is so many algorithms like graph, like there is many, whatever.